Well, that's true. I call it inconvenient truce in the sense, we have got something. The problem has always been about enforcement. It's not about rules. Rules are in place in China, depends on how they enforce it. And also in terms of the detail of the deal, we know that there is some additional purchase agreement that is signed up. It's over a 2-year period, so you can't just conclude in 6 months' time and say whether they are playing by the rule or not. So that leaves uncertainty. And then of course you have election, and knowing Mr. Trump, he will probably have his own antics again going on closer to the election time, depending on how the polls move. But in short, given that it's a truce, it is going to help the market, because businesses don't like uncertainty what's going to happen. I mean, if it's a 2-year period, maybe everything happens toward the end of 2 year, all anxiety toward the end of 2 year, but at least for now, people think, okay, this can carry on and people can invest and keep working on it.
I think it's an excellent way to put it. It's basically a truce, isn't it? Look,
yeah.
We've had a standoff, things weren't going well. Let's just settle down and take a step backwards and calm down. Do you think, though, that as time goes on, that, as you mentioned, that maybe Trump will start to double down on the tariffs if indeed he is starting to get behind in the polls, because that has played really well with the electorate, whether we like it or not?
I think I'm 100% sure that if things were not going very well for him in polls, I think he will double down on tariff, because that's exactly how he came to power. Remember, he said that none of the previous presidents have done a deal and China is ripping us off and currency manipulator and everything. Now the reality is very different. As we know, reality is completely different, and it's inconvenient for America because China is a rising power, and America, I'm not saying America is diminishing, but at least it is not keeping up to where it used to be. But there's a recognition on part of America as well that they need China. Because U.S. is 20 trillion economy, China is 12 trillion economy. China growing is good for America as well, because America needs to sell its own products. So they do realize that they have to work with China, but then, there's a lot of politics.
How much does China really need the United States? Because what we saw during that almost 2-year trade spat between those two global powers is that China became increasingly self-reliant. It started looking elsewhere, started forging other relationships with other trading partners. There were actually some trading partners that benefited from the trade spat in certain areas such as agriculture and resources, such as Australia. Does China need the US as much as the US needs China?
It's a very difficult question, but does China need America? I would say yes. I think that they still need a lot of technology coming from America. They need the know-how. They need the American market, even though they're trying to develop the Asian market as well. And a reliance on somebody who plays by the rule. And in that sense, two strong parties working together is going to be much beneficial for the world than two of the main crucial parties in the economy fighting with each other, because that doesn't help anyone. And of course, the role of US dollar, because remember, the Chinese capital account is not open. So you cannot, China cannot be a superpower unless they open their capital account where investors can bring the money and take out at will. And that hasn't happened. And they still need a lot of financial assets and financial market, as you're seeing, because of record number of debt. And of course, America has huge control of IMF, World Bank, and various bodies. So China has to play ball with America.
Hi, I'm Joanna Bersecci, and thank you for watching. You can check out more of our videos by clicking on the boxes on the screen. And don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more from CNBC International. Thank you for watching.